Hey.
Your.
What's up, guys? This is the Boombox Podcast. Yes, I am your host, Miss Prodolokes. I'm here with Nick, the homie, and Nick's homie. I forgot your name.
What's up? My name is Cyph.
Cyph.
My boy Cyph.
Like a cipher.
Yes, sir.
So you be ciphering or what?
I used to.
Used to?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking sick.
Like 10 years ago.
10 years ago?
Yeah.
That's not too long ago if you kind of think about it.
Yeah, kind of, but it's kind of depressing. I feel old now.
Shut the fuck
Oh, God.
We're old as hell now.
Nah, with smoking that good ganja, you don't get old.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on the podcast. I always like to meet new people and people that are doing like fucking. Oh, it's my somewhere. People that are doing fucking something creative and artistic in the media, right? Like me doing the podcast and you guys are doing the film and stuff. So tell me about how do you guys know each other?
Oh man, that's a long story.
That's a long story, bro. It's like there's so many ways we know each other.
Yeah,
there's too many ways.
Shit. Family for real. Like we really grew up together. Our dads were actually like best friends type shit. You know what I mean? Growing up, so we've known each other literally since like damn near we were born.
Yeah, seriously.
But then just over the years, we both used to do music, and so we know each other from that scene. And then keeping the story going, we linked back up again on. He's been doing the clothing with the Black Sheep stuff, and then I've been doing the film stuff, and then we recently got together to start putting together this series called 11 p.m. Oh, are we dropping in there?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Called 11 p.m. We're working on this series called 11 p.m. where we are just kind of following artists, everything from musicians to just creatives, artists, painters, fucking filmers, and just trying to tap in with everybody that's involved with the culture.
It's a series?
It's a series, kind of like a mini docu-series, so to say, I guess.
It's kind of hard to explain because it's like just really like on like such a creative tip.
It's like
you know
a
what I mean?
behind the scenes type of thing or what?
Kind of. It's more like for like all the upcoming artists and stuff like that.
That's fucking sick, yeah.
So it's called 11 p.m. and our slogan is when the world slept on us. Yeah, so we call it 11 p.m. because, that's when everyone's pretty much asleep. Yeah. So it's like for everybody on the grind, you know what I mean? Like, so we're pretty much covering like, artists, athletes, skaters, whatever you do.
So y'all do the film. Do you guys like, what is it? Who does interviewing or how does it work? How did you guys come up with this?
Shoot, man, just being on some trying to be creative tip.
Yeah, just trying to stay busy, just trying to keep working. And then also we're just, both of us are like really heavy on like the culture, you know what I mean? Like we like to follow specifically LA, you know what I mean? But
for sure, dude, we have. You'd be amazed at how many people I met now because of the podcast. Like some of the talented folks, like female MCs. I'm like, yes, I needed that.
Yeah,
females who do poetry, fucking photographers, a bunch of fucking filmmakers.
Yeah.
But dope ass, but everyone has their own unique style.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So your film, you do film too?
No, just him.
No, just him. Yeah. Okay. How did your film thing start, or like? Because you guys are doing a series. What is it? What is it that you're doing with the series? Since you're
he's pretty much like producing it. Like he's pretty much finding the artist and. Whether it be the both of us finding artists or you know what I mean, just he's the one that's tapping in with them, and then I'll pull up and fucking shoot some stuff for them. But he helps conduct a lot of the momentum as far as like how it's like the formula, so to say. It's like we'll pull up and he knows that I want to capture audio of the artist talking or whatever, you know what I mean? So he'll help to steer conversations and like, you know what I mean? Like, and just get things going in that sense. And then I'll just go back and chop it up later, you know what I mean? And try to make something really
best
cool.
in the game. Nikki
That's
T.
fucking tight. And how many episodes, or is it season? Like,
it hasn't even dropped yet. We're just working right now.
We actually we shot our first one.
Hey, well, whenever you want to make some of the artists over here.
For sure.
That'd be fucking
for sure. And we're always down for that type of stuff.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Like the whole thing the whole tip that we're on is like we talk about it often. There's two scenes going on in LA right now. You got the G Perico scene with all like the quote-unquote gangster rappers. Then you got the Shoreline scene, you know what I mean? And it's just two separate scenes that are super popping right now. But for some weird reason, it's like nobody's talking about the West right now. Nobody's talking about LA. Nobody's talking about the Bay. They're not talking about anything. It's just kind of like, oh yeah, they're doing the thing. But had this been like 2006, the West will have it on lock right now, and people will be repping it with pride.
Yeah.
So it's like that's just the whole vibe that we're trying to bring back to LA. Like I told Nick, everything with 11 p.m. Like I just really wanted to bring that Lakers championship parade back.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like that whole vibe where you were proud to be from LA.
Back to back.
Like, you know, back in those days, like everyone was just on the same tip.
Chills.
Yeah, it was just like on some LA shit. Like straight up. Like, nah, I'm okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just showcasing what life is like back home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like specifically for people that are involved with the culture. It's not limited to musicians. It's not limited to, you know what I mean? Like anybody that's popping. It's really a lot of the cats that we fuck with is really just, you know what I mean, our immediate reach, like who we have reached to, and you know what I mean. We just so happen to have reached to a lot of popping ass niggas in LA.
And it's crazy because like me and Nick like both have our own networks, but then we also share the same network. So we're trying to bring everybody into the same network to where everyone's on.
And now with social media, now you just got it on lock. Hell yeah! You find the most creative and the most dope. Like I think that's fucking sick what you guys are doing. And not only that, you're connecting yourself more and more. Artists are connecting with you, and your artistic views and visions are shared with them, and same goes to them, you know.
And that's the thing too, as far as us like reaching out with artists and stuff. Like it's literally a win-win for both parties because one, we get to to introduce ourselves to them and we become friends with them, and you know their people get to see us, and at the same time they're getting a full-on documentary, and their fans get an insight, you know, like look of who they really are and stuff like that. So it's like the perfect, you know what I mean, amount of cross promotion.
It's
so
like literally cool. Behind the scenes. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, for sure.
You get to tell their story in a short, you know, because our attention span is not getting all that bright. That's crazy. That's fucking tight. That's fucking tight though. All right, so you're doing like production and stuff like that. How did that start? Like, how did that start for you, or networking, or how?
Honestly, it started off from my clothing line.
Oh,
him and our other bro Chaz.
Yeah.
Like, man, I got to tell the whole entire story. Then I mean, we got time, so it's all good.
Go ahead.
So basically, we're all in the same scene at one point, and then somehow we all just ended up like everyone going doing their own thing. You know what I mean? Life happened. Yep. You know what I mean? So I moved to Texas, and I was working in the oil fields out there. And
real I came Texan. Motherfucker was in an oil field. What's that nigga's name?
Yeah. So I was out there working.
I know. And these guys I can hear the accent though.
Oh no, I'm from out here, bro. I was just out there for money. Yeah. But it was. They stayed in the scene, and then. My boy Chaz, you know, he said he was opening up a store and stuff like that. So he was like, you know, started a clothing line. And I was just like, all right. You know what I mean? We've had one before in the past, but I left to Texas. So it's like that pretty much just stopped.
And,
so it's just like.
And you're an all-around creative. So it's like, it's the thing about having a creative soul when you're not, you know what I mean? Like, when you're not being a creative, you feel some void that needs to be filled. I don't know. You know what I mean? And I know
100% right.
I know me and you are similar. So I know it's like, when you're used to getting your creative juices flowing and then you just turn it off one day. Like I know I've been in that situation where I'm like, man, it's not making sense.
It's miserable.
I'm about to go find a job and I'll be working that motherfucker for like a month, maybe 2 months. I'm like, you know what? I'm not coming in tomorrow.
Like I was making good money out there. I was making great money, but I still wasn't happy.
You weren't happy.
And then even when I came back, I went and I got a regular job again. And at that point, I was doing construction. And then that's when the Mac Miller album dropped. And like I was just so inspired, but like Nick said, that void has always been there. Like it was this whole like for the last 5 years, it's been there. And it was just like I always told Chaz like, man. But then it also goes back to the story. We all started off with music. So that was just like the main thing. But then, so I came back. And then I was still working. Then Chaz and Nick and them wanted to open up the store. They said start a clothing line, you know. So then I was like, all right, bet. And that gave me the opportunity. You know, Mac Miller had just passed, and before that, I was just talking to my brother and them about like, you know what I mean, like. I don't want to let my creative side die because I don't want to be a working man for the rest of my life. And then.
At least if you're gonna be working for some shit that you can, you know what I mean, be proud of.
Something that you created,
that you could.
So now, freaking, I started the clothing line, and then I figured I came across this like little vision, because I be having like visions. I ain't trying to sound all weird, but
no,
they be happening. And I came across
dude,
the vision.
I just went to Mexico and I went to the fucking pyramids. I came back fucking livid. Like I came back like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm doing the podcast for fucking. You know what I mean? To the end of that.
That is fire,
man. I'm pretty sure if you go to the pyramids, there's some crazy spiritual shit happening.
Dude,
I'm sure the vibrations there are crazy.
My foot was fucking twitching, fool. Like my foot was fucked up.
That's
like
fire.
I felt like that burning sensation.
Fire was going.
That's right.
And I smoked weed and I was like, oh damn it, I feel it harder. I was like, for real.
Hell yeah.
All right, continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So where was I? Oh yeah. So I started doing the clothing line, and then I started reaching out to these artists, and I started noticing that they were tapping back in, and I was just like, yo, this is crazy. And I felt like I wanted something else beside the clothing line, to have something to offer to like to seal the deal for me.
Yep.
For them to be like, all right, I'll fuck with y'all.
That's fucking real creativeness,
So then that's how I came up with 11 p.m. because my whole thing is like, our whole vision for everything that we do is to build genuine relationships.
Yep.
So it's like, it's not just on some, oh, can you do this for me? And then I'm out. Because, you know, that's not how it works. And at the end of the day, you're never going to win like that.
Nope, never.
You know, so it's like, I feel like you only live once. You only have one life. Try to make as many friends as you can before you leave.
And you know what? You're trying every avenue. You went from clothing line to now film, and you know, you first music.
Yeah. That's where it all comes from.
That's where it all comes from. Yeah, Nick. So okay, you were doing film. I mean, you were doing music, and now you're doing film.
He does it all, man.
But it started with first with music, right?
Started with music.
You were producing. What?
Yeah, music has always and forever will be my first love as a creative. You know what I mean? Like that's from like my grandma teaching me how to play guitar to like, you know what I mean?
Jimmy,
playing at the church, and you know what I mean? And then like taking it a step further and pursuing it myself, and actually like making some decent traction. Like I was really like in the scene for a while, you know what I mean? And like really doing some significant shit, and that was cool as fuck. But how'd I get into the film was this is an honest story. I used to want to shoot my own music videos because a lot of the homies that shot either weren't available or I just didn't have the money to be putting out the stuff that I wanted to do, you know what I mean? But I did have enough to get a camera, so I bought my first camera, and then I've been shooting ever since. And it transitioned to like shooting my own stuff and the stuff for my immediate crew to like shooting everybody's stuff. You know what I mean? Like I've literally have footage of a lot of people, like significant people in LA. You know what I mean? And I've been blessed and privileged to be able to do that. You know what I mean? Like
sick.
To be able to surround myself with the like, you know what I mean? Just the people that are holding the city on their back. You know what I mean?
I feel like for those who know, who are really in the scene, they know Nick. If you don't know Nick, you know what I mean? Like, you have to know Nick or somebody that knows Nick. So
well, I know Nick now.
I've been around for a while, man. I've been doing this for a minute. And it's cool to see where it's taking me to, you know what I mean? Like, seeing it now and what it is now, like, like I said, I feel blessed that I literally said this earlier because I was working on, we're getting ready to do Camp Flognaw, and I was building the stage set, you know, designing some of the stuff that's gonna go on the stage, and I like stopped and I had a moment and I was like, "Dang, that's crazy! I get paid to do art." Like, you know, what I mean? Like I get to make a living. It wasn't always like that. It was a struggle for a while. You know what I mean?
But you know what? Knowing that you got there, that's it.
But
that's
with that, you know what I mean? I find solace in knowing that I stuck around. I went through the ups and downs of it, and you know what I mean. And years later, and it's not like it's always been making sense, but it's starting to make sense. You know what I mean? And it's like that's dope because that's what I was doing it for. You know what I mean? So.
And now you're making it a living, and now it's like coming reality. And
and the thing about it is, I feel like when you struggle, it feels a little better. Like rather than when you're working and you're struggling, that sucks.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna lie.
It's hard.
I know a lot of motherfuckers that are doing it that had that, you know, good trust fund, mommy and daddy.
Oh yeah. We do not.
I'm not knocking it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Maybe my next life I might, you know what I mean, not have to try as hard. But no, I'm just playing.
Straight up.
Nah, but it's cool though. I've enjoyed.
I had to work 2-3 jobs.
I've enjoyed every step of the every step of the way. You know what I mean? Like everything, literally everything from all the struggles. You know what I mean? Fucking everything.
The struggle is what pushes you. What pushes me.
And it and like I said, it makes sense. So it's cool. It's cool that we get to do that.
You want to do what you love, and fuck everyone's scene at camp. Dude, camp vlog, like the whole setup. That's why I asked you what the theme of it was. Yeah. But the whole setup is crazy because now everyone's seeing your artwork, and they're like, "Oh, I wonder who fucking designed that."
I mean,
shit.
you know, it's what's weird. It's a trip. Is like, it's funny because like he was talking about my boy Chaz earlier. We were at a festival not too long ago, and he does something similar to what I do as far as like he's all around creative, and he knows how to make it happen every which way. But we were at a festival, and at least like 4 of the acts that were on stage, he was like, "Yo, that's my handwriting on the monitors," or like, "That's my artwork that I put up." And I'm like, isn't it crazy? It's like people watch this shit, and I don't even know if it resonates with them. I mean, obviously they know the artists that we're doing it for, but nobody ever stops to think like, "Yo, whose art is that?" Or that shit's dope as fuck. But I mean, you know, it's a silent victories. You know what I mean? Like I just get to, I have my moments where I walk into the crowd and I just look at my art on stage and I'm just like, "Oh shit, man, that shit looks hard."
Sick.
But
I mean, it is a great feeling to know like. Do y'all know who did that shit? I did that shit, son.
Straight up.
I got paid for that too.
Yeah. But I mean, too, I like to be in the background. You know what I mean? Like I'm a behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes, dude.
Same here.
I'm either or. I like it. I like to know.
I play both sides. You know what I mean? But yeah, I feel it.
But you know who works the hardest? Behind the scenes.
Yeah, for sure.
You know that for a fact.
Seriously.
That's facts.
Yeah.
You know, but that's fucking sick though that you started. It started with music, film. Tell me, what do you use? What type of camera do you use for a lot of the film? Are you using the same camera for the series? The camera that you use now, or do you have different cameras?
Well, it depends on what the project is. Like, my go-to day-to-day shooter is a A7. I like recently transitioned to the Sony, so I've been shooting on the A7, and I like it. I like it a lot. I like the whole vibe that Sony's doing right now, because I mean I grew up on Canons, you know what I mean, like, and anybody that's familiar with Canon, they're like these big bulky, you know what I mean, super heavy duty cameras, and the shit is cool. I'm a Canon like guy for my entire life. I love Canon and everything they do, but as of like the last 2-3 years maybe, I've been like transitioning to the Sony stuff, and it is fucking beautiful. I love that shit. It's just so like, it's so versatile. It's hella like run and gun on the go, and they've been doing like this mirrorless stuff, so it's really compact, you know what I mean? Like it's cool to travel with, you know what I mean? You don't got to carry these big bulky ass like you know, you could carry a small backpack, got your body, you got like 4 lenses in there, you're good to go, you know what I mean? So
it's fucking
that's just been cool. But other than that, like whether the project is, you know, smaller budget, I'll just bring out the regular stuff, you know what I mean, which is still quality stuff. Or like recently we just brought out one of the Red cameras that one of the guys on our team, he owns a Red camera, so whenever we get the
What's
project,
a Red camera, Nick?
Like a $50,000 camera.
I know. I was thinking about it. I was like, is it one of those?
But if the budget requires it, then yeah. Like recently, I just did the Shoreline Mafia video, and we brought the Red camera out for that shit, and like that shit, it looks great. You know what I mean? Like you can't. The quality on there, you can't beat that shit.
Y'all use that for your series or what?
I mean, eventually, shit, one day, you know what I mean? When I could afford to bring out the team, for sure. Because that shit is a big ass camera, and to operate that motherfucker,
we're gonna start having the budgets.
To operate that motherfucker, that shit is heavy. But it's fun though.
It'll become a reality. Don't even trip. Yeah. You put your energy there, and it'll happen.
All about vibes in this car.
Yeah, that's all about it, man. I got that fucking tribe right here in me. No, just kidding. That does not sound right. No, but but that's fucking tight though. Like, it's really, really creative that you brought to his attention the series, and now since you're doing the film, you're just the right person for that job.
Perfect guy for it. Like we have a lot of friends that shoot, but like no one's as tapped in as Nick is as far as like, you know, the whole look, like the whole vision, the passion behind it. Like, you know what I mean? Like all day, bro. You know what I mean? Like he's literally the perfect man for the job. Like,
how many camera guys do you guys have? It's just you, or how does that?
We got like 4 or 5.
4 or 5,
and they're all fire though. You know what I mean? But like just there's
sick with it.
I don't know. I can't really explain it. But Nick,
so is this a big production type of team thing, or
it'll get there.
There's a cameraman. There's a production team. Is there marketing, or how many people, or what's the whole team look like?
So I mean, they're doing. So him and like the other guys, they do the clothing and the merch stuff, and then we probably got like a handful of photographers and you know what I mean, a couple videographers that help throughout the projects. But the 11 p.m. series is where I've been able to get my just, you know what I mean, like my vision across and trying to help to bring to life what he has in mind and everything that he's trying to accomplish. And it just helps that, like, I know a lot of artists and he knows just as many, you know what I mean? And like, it all depends on, you know what I mean, like whoever's, I don't know, whoever you know and whatever the fuck you're doing, and if it looks decent
I feel
or
like
not.
we have a cool chemistry.
Yeah, I mean, not to mention we fucking grew up together, so it's like, yeah, we could literally, you know what I mean,
finish each other's sentences when it comes to the screen.
There you go.
We could fucking we could go sit and do all the creative stuff and the fun stuff, and then in the same breath have like conversations about our childhood.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? Like, so that's just dope as fuck when you got somebody that.
How much our moms hated our dads growing up and shit like that.
That calls for another series. That calls for another series right there.
Oh man,
growing up
that's
and
like
shit.
a little inside joke right there, man. Because our dads used to party all day, every day, when we were kids.
Yeah.
So our joke is like, you know what I mean? Like
our moms
hate our dads
because they used to have to go pick them up in the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night. You know what I mean?
Funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Mom, where you going? I'm gonna go pick up your dad.
Pick up your dad.
That's fucking
funny. They don't want to leave.
Yeah,
they want to kick it still.
They got 4
Mom's
kids
is tripping.
at home.
You got the kids at home. You got work tomorrow. They talking about fuck that job.
Yeah.
Is it repeating itself? Nah, just kidding. Nah, just kidding.
For the record, we love our dads though.
Yeah,
they actually turned out crazy good. Like, his dad's like
they raise
touring the world now. Huh?
The what?
His dad like in a trailer and he's going all over the world just living his best life.
Yeah. My dad, so like all of our siblings are of age where they left the house and shit.
Yeah.
And my dad, he's a truck driver his whole life. So what he did, he sold the house and he bought a trailer, like a not a truck trailer, but like a RV. And him and his wife, my stepmom, they've just been fucking just traveling everywhere. They just travel everywhere. They just live in an RV. I'm not gonna lie, the RV is hard as fuck.
It's fire. Like every time I see his dad's post on Facebook, I send it to Nick. Like, dude, your dad's out here living his best life. My dad is too. Like, he just recently purchased his own big rig, his own truck. So now he's his own operator now. Out there making his money.
Yeah, that shit is crazy, man. I don't know how they do that shit.
Straight up. It's dope to see though. It's really dope.
Especially because they were both a couple of shitheads back in the I'm glad you guys got your shit together.
Glad you guys got your shit together, Dad.
Now you guys are good.
Yeah. Well, our moms
they probably say the same shit about us.
Yeah, straight up.
Oh, now you guys grew up to be a responsible young man, right?
Doing
your thing.
No,
Damn,
we're getting there.
That's funny. That's tight. That's fucking tight though. What you guys are doing, and where's your store at?
No, it's not my store. It was our friend Chaz's store.
Oh, okay.
And him and Nick ran it.
Oh, okay.
It's out there in Pedro off of 6th and Mesa.
And how can people buy some of your items? What website do they go to?
You could go on our website www.blacksheepla.com, BLAQ sheep.com, or you can find us on Instagram at blacksheepla.
That's tight. How long have you been having your clothing line?
About like 7 months, 8 months.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Right when the store opened, this one these guys got on me and told me like, "Hey man, get your clothing line started, man. The store's about to open in a week." So I said,
"Hey, you literally did that shit in like a week or two."
Really? And how did the whole artistic designs of it, all of your clothing?
But see, that's the thing. Like, I've had the idea of it for like ever since I went to Texas. So it's like, I didn't have the full idea, but I knew like I want to start a clothing line. If I do, I've had the name for like probably like 6 years.
Okay.
So that's where it came from, and it was
a
just
matter of having an excuse to do it.
Yeah, having a reason to do it. An excuse to do it.
Yeah.
Like, and even the backstory behind that, like they told me I had to go get a laptop because I've always depended on Chaz to do like all the design.
You just create the ideas.
Yeah, I just come and tell him like, "Hey,
here,
bro,
let me do this.
I got this idea. Hey, can you do this for me?" And he did it every time. But like, I came back this time and bro is like, he's super busy now. You know what I mean? And like, I had to like respect that. Like, bro, he doesn't have time. I had to learn this on my own. Like, stop making excuses. So they told me to go get a laptop, and I went and got a MacBook Air.
Literally, like a day or two later, he pulls up with a laptop. I'm like, "Oh shit, you ain't fucking around." Huh?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But I was just like super excited just to get back into creative mode. I missed it so much, so it's like Yeah. Like, I always thank these guys. They really, literally got me back into it. Like, seriously.
Got to stay really doing what you do.
Yeah. That's really dope. So, Nick.
Yes.
Tell me my music is very loud sometimes. I wonder, like, when you hear that. No, it's actually a ska band. I wonder, like, when you watch the podcast, like, do you hear some of the music in the background, like, much louder than the person speaking or something, you know?
No, I don't think it's picking up that much.
Yeah, no. I got a real audio engineer here, you know what I'm saying? Willie G.
Shout out my boy Willie G.
Willie G.
Full effect right here. But okay, I got my engineer, but you're working on film. Any projects you want to tell me or anything other than your series?
Right now, I am in the process of finishing a script that I've been working on.
Ooh,
fire!
It is.
I wish I could do the fire emojis on there.
All the emojis.
6.
It is actually in the process of. We're gonna start production soon. I'm about to sign with a network. So I'm about to. I don't know if I should. I don't know if I could say.
You don't have to say.
I'm not gonna say it for now, but just stay tuned. But I'm signing.
Follow him on IG. You know what I'm saying?
I'm signing with a network to bring this. It was originally a feature, but the network that I'm signing with, they work on a lot of series stuff, and a lot of my favorite stuff that I grew up watching comes from this network in particular. So. They were easily.
That's exciting.
They were easily, persuasive as far as getting me to turn it to a feature film to a series. So, early 2020, we're gonna go into production and we're gonna start shooting the pilot. But it's just a story. The story is about just like the gist of it. It is the story of my dad and his little brother. And their families, the story of like the migration from Samoa to America.
A detailed story.
Yeah, it's a very detailed. But what it does is it follows, in particular, my dad and his little brothers, or his little brother, the one right below him. It follows their story because they were. Unfortunately, at the time, like there wasn't enough money to take the entire family, and they were just at that age where they were old enough to take care of themselves. So they were left behind, and then it just follows them through how they were in Samoa at the time, like, and they kind of went through a situation where they had to leave where they were staying at, just like, you know what I mean, just like on some abusive shit, and you know what I mean. So it was pretty much following them living on their own in the island, and just like they ended up meeting a bunch of kids that were like them, and they just had like a gang out there, and then they were doing a bunch of crazy shit in Samoa, you know what I mean, like they were wilding, and I
don't know crazy shit they do. I want to know. Damn, now you got
I'll give you like a couple of the scenes. So one of the and it like it's the way it is, it's like It really shows the dynamic of their relationship, not even just like as individuals on their own, but like the brotherhood that they share and the importance of, like, you know, shining a light on how a lot of people know Polynesians and Samoans to be like really tight knit as far as their families are concerned. So it kind of just dabbles into that as far as them taking care of themselves and taking care of each other. But one of the scenes is like, for example, there was a time when they would like there was a gang of them, right? At some point in the story, there's a whole gang of them. There's probably like 5 to 10 of them, and they would go around stealing horses and stealing shit from like farms and, like, you know what I mean, little local villages out there.
Horses are expensive.
Surviving. And then so they get in trouble because they sneak onto a farm, and one of the owner of the farm, he like comes looking for them, and he sends like a whole fucking like a search squad to come find these kids. And like there's been like rumors about it at this point, like they've been on the news already, like there's a group of kids that goes around from village to village, they steal stuff, you know what I mean, like little orphan kids and shit. And so they're getting tracked down, and they're all on the run. like rolling through the jungles and shit, like on horseback. You know what I mean? Like a bunch of little kids, and knowing that they're on the run and knowing that there's somebody coming after them. One of the kids that was with them, he was like a ginger kid, like a little white boy, like a ginger, but he just happened to be with them. And there was the story goes like when they were on the run, there was like they were all dipping and the ginger kid was like, yo, everybody pull over, I gotta take a shit. And nobody wanted to pull over because they're like, hell no, there's like a whole gang of people looking for us right now. And they're all on the horses.
We got time here.
Yeah, so like the little kid, like the kid starts crying. He's like, yo, and eventually he just like pulls his pants down and leans over on the side of the horse and takes his shit. And like all the kids are laughing at him and shit like that, you know what I mean? And he's like crying, like, you know, he's hella embarrassed. But it was what they had to do, you know what I mean? Like they had to survive. They had to make it out somehow, you know what I mean? But it's just a hella interesting story. Like I picked up these stories as a kid because like my dad and his brothers and like pretty much the whole family, we used to have like big functions, and at the end of the night it'll be like
reminisce and shit, right?
Yeah, everybody's all drunk and him and his older brother, you could always tell that there was this very super tight bond, you know what I mean? Like
them too.
Like deeper than like, you know what I mean? A lot like sibling shit, like, you know, the real brotherhood, like they got hella mad love for each other. And they always talk about these stories when they get drunk, and it's like as a kid growing up, I used to like firsthand listen to them, like, and seeing like their emotional responses to like, you know what I mean, them talking to each other, and like how it really, you could tell these things were like, you know what I mean, important to their lives, you know what I mean? So it's like I was just blessed with like being that little kid that never wanted to go to bed, and like now I got these stories, and like years later I get into film, and like that's just always a story that I always wanted to tell, you know what I mean? So but yeah, that story, that's, you know what I mean, is gonna get, we're working on the series, so,
and it's gonna be told, and it's gonna be, instead of you talking about it, now everyone's gonna be seeing the visual of it. That's fucking tight. That
I feel like everyone could relate to these stories.
Yeah,
like, they could really relate.
Tradition,
like,
right? Yeah.
Anyone that had to come to America, you know what I mean? Like literally get you know what I mean?
Right,
like,
yeah. What? So you're half what?
I'm half Samoan, half Guatemalan.
Okay, that's a mixture.
Yeah.
So your dad is Samoan, and your dad.
My dad's Samoan, my mom's Guatemalan. Yeah.
Oh, they met here.
Yeah, they met here. They were actually neighbors. They were neighbors on the old block that my dad used to live on, right here in Carson.
That's
right down the street.
Right up the street.
Where my dad used to.
And what's your ethnicity? What are you?
I'm full Samoan.
Full Samoan, yeah?
Yeah.
Damn, that's how you guys click. That's how y'all know. And that's how you party together. That's what's up. Yeah. That's why you're the creativeness, and you're more creative, and you guys, you know, do all this shit together. That's fucking sick. You guys been partying for a minute though, y'all.
Yeah, that's my dog right here.
Well, it's a trip though, because it's like there's a lot of us. There's like literally about 50 of us.
Yeah,
like,
there's,
you know what I mean? Like all of all of our
we're
dad's friends, like all their little gang, because they literally are a gang,
Damn.
and all their kids. There's so many of us, but it's just like me and Nick are like the only ones that are like on the creative side.
So we were always naturally gravitating towards each other.
Yeah, straight up.
And now they see you guys, you know, rolling.
Still doing it, man. Still doing it.
That's fucking
Yeah.
That's dope, man. That's dope that you guys are doing that, and that's dope that you are doing that series.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I
was really gonna.
I love that. I love that story. So to be able to share it and like it actually means something to me, it's pretty cool, you know. And I'm so excited. I just want to tell you guys. No, I can't let it out the bag yet. But it is a dope ass network that I grew up watching. So it's like that whole situation coming into fruition was just like, that was crazy. You know what I mean? Like I'm a firm believer of like, you know what I mean, you're gonna get what you want in this life, but goddamn, that shit.
Like that shit's gonna feel bomb when it hits, huh?
Yeah. It's been cool. It's been crazy.
That's fucking tight. Yeah. And you're writing the script, or what is it that you're really going to be working on?
So I'm writing the story, and I'm going to be directing it. So I'm going to be writing and directing.
Damn, no camera work for you, or what?
I mean, I'm not opposed to getting in the field. You know what I mean? I actually enjoy picking up the camera when I'm on set. Even when I have crews and I have production teams available, like I'm still the dude that, let me get this shot real quick, because I know what I want to see in my head, and I know how you know what I mean. Like nobody could get the vision out better than yourself. So I'm not opposed to picking up the camera. You know what I mean? And shit, but if I get to sit back and sit on, you know what I mean? Like, I'm cool with that too.
That's fucking tight, dude. That is fucking tight, man. That's crazy, dude. Like, you guys are both, okay. Well, you're doing your whole film thing, and how are you going to be doing the series and your own little script, your film at the same time?
That's not a problem. I do this for real. Yeah. I do this for real.
And you running your clothing line and stuff like that?
Yeah.
You guys got this?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like it's just one of those things like when you want something so bad, you make time for it.
You make time for it, for sure. Yeah, it is. It is time consuming when you're building, like, I'm building my little brand, so it is time consuming.
It's not a little brand.
It's not a little brand.
Well,
you're building
I like that. You see how we see?
That's
not
dope.
building your brand. Going up.
Yeah.
Building your
Trying,
brand.
You're learning, and you're networking, and you're making, them communications. You know what I mean?
Everything is.
I learned a lot from from the podcast. You learn a lot from everybody else. Like, dude, that's fucking sick. Not only are you doing staging, but look at you, you're running your own little series. You know what I'm saying? You were fucking working in Texas. Now you back over here. Do what you want to do. It's just crazy how that happens, and it's crazy how you've been networking since you were young, and you were fucking young ass kids, and who would have thought? Okay, I'll be doing something really creative like this.
I'm not gonna lie, I always knew.
Really?
I always knew I was that nigga.
But I feel like you just have to own that. Like, it's not a bad thing, like, I feel like a lot of people put it down, like, they give a bad look for people that are, like, really confident and know what they want. You know what I'm saying? Know what they were destined to be. It's like, I'm
not gonna lie to you. I didn't like some of the cocky ass motherfuckers that were doing music. Like, there's some cocky ass DJs out there.
There's a fine line between cocky
and cocky ass motherfuckers. You're like, all right, fool, I get it. You popping.
Yeah.
All right then. You know what I mean? Like, take a chill pill.
Yeah.
No,
Sure.
I could tell you guys have little stories, good ass fucking stories when you guys used to party.
Oh yeah,
you guys would party hard, huh?
I didn't party nearly as hard as this guy though.
Hell yeah, Kyle.
Yeah, shout out my boy Kyle, man. Look at we kicking it just like we had Pico. Nah, but I'm not gonna knock it. Yeah, I did used to, I did used to do a lot of partying in my life. I was wild. I've always been wild. You know what I mean?
Are you guys the same age?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. He got probably like a year on me, but it's all the same shit. Like,
yeah, you got a lighter?
No. You have one right there, and you.
These lighters are both. I got 2 lighters. Look, I'm about to do this shit ghetto as fuck real quick. Watch this. I got 2 lighters operating as one. Hold on, I want to do this just because.
Tweaker.
You probably had parties here in Carson. You say your aunt lives right here?
Yeah, like 2 houses down.
The pool parties, summer would be lit right here,
it was super. It was lit. Super lit.
Who would start the party? How would you call the peeps? Is it MySpace time? Was this MySpace time?
Oh no, this wasn't that type of party. It was family parties.
Oh, just families?
Family parties.
No, our family parties are.
Our family parties are like.
Our families are just our families.
Parties. Yeah.
You know that house on the block where there's like whenever they party. That's us.
Yeah.
That's us. Talking about
seriously
15, 20 of the kids in the front, another fucking 10, 15 of the older guys, and then you got the whole elders in the backyard and
party.
You know what I mean?
Well, mine would be all the kids in the front. It's crazy how the kids in the front.
In the front.
All the fucking time.
Yeah.
Out of all the places they need to be in the fucking front.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? The jumper, or they're just playing in the grass and shit.
Yeah.
Is this weed?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. I was like, I better be weed.
There's a little bit of dope in there.
There's some LSD, some angel dust and shit. I was thinking of having a podcast and like popping some shrooms,
Oh, that'd be badass.
Because I'm going through a hallucinogenic journey right now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to really conquer myself and do everything that I say I was gonna do.
Yeah.
It took me. I'm 26 right now, and it's taking me a while to get what I want to do, but I'm doing it, and I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
but
lit.
I'm going through a journey where it's like I wanna like change, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you change yourself in a way, a lot of shit will happen. I'm a little believer into that.
Oh, yeah.
So I stopped drinking until I graduated college.
Okay.
And right now I'm smoking a lot of fucking weed.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm down
do something to take the edge off.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I don't know. Everyone's different, you know?
Shout out psychedelics and anybody that uses psychedelics, man. Open
Shout
up
out
your
Joe
third
Rogan,
eye.
dog.
Have you listened to the Mike Tyson podcast?
Oh yeah, that's fire too.
Yeah.
This fool always talks about the frog.
Yeah.
It trips you out because you a lot of the people that you look up to are into this shit or have done this shit, and I want to know more about it. I really know. I want to know.
Be careful.
No. Of course.
I've had my moments where I've like, don't get me wrong. I'm a firm believer of like, the like expanding your mind in any way possible, you know what I mean? And like for me, like, you know what I mean, like you say you've been going through, like I went through a crazy psychedelic phase. Like, you know, I did a lot of acid in my life. I did a lot of shrooms, you know what I mean? Like, I love, and even going into like DMT, like I've smoked DMT a handful of times, you know what I mean? So I definitely have taken something from those experiences, you know what I mean? Like being able to come back from that, whatever it is, the other dimension, or just the fact that, you know what I mean, you get a more in-depth look at like what you're normally going through every day, you know what I mean? Like that shit is wild as fuck. Same breath, I've also had some very shitty experiences, you know what I mean? Like I've had a handful of super shitty experiences, but and at times there's been some moments where it's like been scarring, you know what I mean? Like mentally scarring, like to where I had to go through a lot to come out of what I put myself through because of psychedelics. But in that same token, like I fucking, when I did finally break the whole like being traumatized because of whatever psychedelic experience I had, like I came back out of it like strong as fuck, you know what I mean? Like my mind is just like been able to be like, you know what I mean? Like it's understand really that I'm not, like everything, life in itself is crazy as fuck, but it's like don't be so serious about it, you know what I mean? Like
of course
it's just a ride. It's just we're all going along for the ride, you know what I mean? It's the same ride, and it's like just have fun and do your thing. And
so you're just getting started on yours, like your trips and stuff like that, and wanting to.
Well, I haven't really like got to the point where I'm gonna go buy it. I'm gonna have, you know what I mean? I haven't done that. What I'm saying is that I'm going through a stage in my life where I'm changing and evolving so much rapidly. Yeah. Because my mind is set on it. Yeah. My mind is set on my career, which is fire. This. Yeah. So my mind was set on, if I want this, and there's some things that I need to overcome and change. Yeah. Because if I'm doing the same shit I was doing a year ago, I don't think I'll keep evolving. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. A lot of people hit that ceiling. Yeah.
So and there's so many avenues. Who's gonna break through and then life happens. Yeah. Love, family. Right. You know, I lost a job. A lot of shit happened to me. So I kind of feel like, okay, there's like something going on. This energy is not fucking, you know what I'm saying? Shit happens. Like that was a huge move for you to move from Texas, making that bank of a money, to just coming home and just really quickly just landing a gig like that, like a job in construction.
Kind of, it was a struggle. I mean, there's a cold story behind that. Even me going to Texas, that was on some that kind of, I don't know. I know there was a purpose for it, but I feel like that story alone was just it was just too crazy. Yeah. Like my mom and pops had just lost their house in Vegas, and my pops was going to the employment office to look for work. There was a lady there that said that she takes people from Las Vegas to Texas. She get them in the oil field. She got a whole plug. You know what I mean? Okay. And all she charges was $200. So my dad threw my two younger brothers on the bus. You know what I mean? No phone, no money, no nothing. Yep. And they get to Texas, and her plug gets fired. It's the day they touch down in Texas. Damn. The lady basically ditches my brothers, and they literally have nowhere to go. No phone, no nothing. So they're walking to the closest like Walmart to try to find figure it out. They don't even know where they're going. They're just walking. That's crazy. Trying to figure it the fuck out. Dude. And one of our cousins that we haven't talked to in probably 2 years literally walks out of his apartment building while they're walking by.
Literally while they're walking by?
While they're walking by. I can't lie about this story.
He didn't know about them coming out there or
nothing?
Damn.
So it's like, you know what I mean? And then
things happen for a reason.
It's crazy.
You don't know, man. It's
a lot of shit. Not for real.
The universe works in mysterious ways, dog.
Everything happens for a reason. What's in this weed?
Not just kidding.
Yeah. And it was like such a dark time when all that was happening. It was like we were super depressed, and this is before I even knew about depression and how real it is. Like it's like a real thing. I feel like I was just tripping out. Like, man, like I said, like I feel like if anything that I could take from that, it made me a man. You know what I mean? It taught me how to really work. You know, like I said earlier about the music, I've worked with nothing but biceps. Like all of them, literally. And the first day of work, it was so hard to the point I had to literally go home, and they were already talking about firing me because I couldn't keep up. You know what I mean? I've been in the studio
you ain't
for
up with no paisas, bro.
Man, you can't.
Niggas are
you know,
unreal.
and like before this, I have the only job I had before that was a warehouse.
Yep.
So I don't know hard work yet. You know what I mean? So then I'm going there and the room is already coming. Hey, bro, you didn't do good today, blah blah. And I literally had to look myself in the mirror like, all right, look, you have nowhere to go. You know what I mean? You have nowhere to go. It's either you do this now or you know what I mean. And then I ended up busting my ass, and then my Mexican partners out there, they seen that I was trying, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and then they took me under their wing, you know what I mean? Just like family. And then I got invited to the cookouts after work, carne asada, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Coronas or Modelos?
Both.
At the time it was Coronas.
Okay.
It wasn't Modelo time yet.
That's fucking.
That is crazy. Like.
Hey, new series for you. Start writing down all this.
For sure. There's so many stories.
There's so many stories.
Man. Even then, like, I've already. Yeah, I know. I got you. Don't trip.
Yeah. Okay. You need to start writing this shit down, though. Because you forget.
while you over here talking about like paisas and shit, man. Like, I don't know. That's one thing I like. Being half Hispanic, like, I love that shit about like being raza. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like I know how hard our people work. You know what I mean? Like, and that shit is crazy. I was literally talking about this shit earlier. I was passing by an old factory I used to work at. I got like a job at some point in my life. They had an agency and they sent me to work at this factory.
Oh yeah, been there, done that.
I pull up and I swear it's like literally it's all paisa dudes. You know what I mean? Like none of these fools speak fucking English. You know what I mean? Like, but like I speak Spanish, so I'm like I'm in there with them and shit. And like
bro, this is Spanish. Okay.
I got like a whole like working that shit. Yo, like I used to trip out. Like there's fools that have been there for like 2, 3 years, 4 years, 5, 10 years, you know what I mean? Like, and I was there for like a month and a half, maybe 2 months. And I swear, like, I couldn't close my hands. I used to work I was on a machine. And it was like every day I used to have to do the same shit every day for 8 hours. And I used to like literally damn near crying every day when I go home. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm going home at like 7 in the morning because I got the weak ass graveyard shit. And pulling up and I'm like pulling up in the bed and shit. My hands are all like, I can't even close them shits. And I'm just like, yo, I got a whole like respect for like just straight paisa motherfuckers that come here to work.
I tell everybody I know, the Mexicans taught me how to work.
Well, yeah.
Mexicans taught me how to work. Like,
now them motherfuckers will too.
That's why I get up
my
every
grandpa
morning.
and my uncles and everybody getting huevón, levántate, huevón.
Yeah. But then there comes your health. You know, my dad worked for fucking 26 years straight, straight. Not one or vacation just because of Christmas time. My dad would not stop working. But his health, you got to take care of yourself, dude.
Got to.
That's your health, man. That is another.
You know what I always wondered? So, like, you know how Mexicans work every single day, right?
Yeah.
Are you guys saving up for something like huge or something?
They gotta
like,
work. They gotta work to send money back home.
Yeah, that's what it is then, right?
It just seems like not only that, but Mexicans work to just have shit. You know, pay for shit. Some people fucking be putting rims on fucking big ass trucks that don't need that shit.
And no cap.
Mexicans, one thing I know about my Mexican partners, they all love the single cab trucks.
Okay.
What is it about the single cab?
This nigga's funny as fuck.
I always ask him that, like, bro, like, why do you like the single cab? Like, I don't know, way. It's just I like your way.
All small niggas like Suburbans.
Yeah, straight up. I don't think we like it, bro. I just think those are the only cars that fit us.
Yeah, like I don't know how many Suburbans we've had in our family.
Yeah.
Straight Astros.
Straight up. No, but Mexicans taught me how to work. Literally, taught me how to work. Work ethic. You know what I mean? Just like really working hard. One day we was out. We was on like in the oil fields. There's no labor law, so you work up to like 24 hours.
What?
Like his spices?
Oh my god! Here we go.
Is that a disrespectful term?
In the mic.
No, it's
Nah, you know what? A lot of like if you're Hispanic, it's not. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean?
No,
it's
not. My name is paisa.
But I know that. But there are people that use it in like a derogatory term, like, you know what I mean, like a derogatory type of way. You know what I'm saying? Where like they want.
Because I never get that vibe around Mexicans or paisas, but when I say it in front of other people, they kind of give me this look, and I'm kind of like, wait, I don't know.
Don't say that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Didn't say that.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. You know what? I don't know.
Yeah.
But you know what? Everyone's different.
Yeah, that's true.
Everyone's different. True. Not everyone thinks the same. You know what I'm saying?
Straight up.
I'm a paisa sometimes. You
I'm
know?
paisa for sure.
Fuck yeah, when people have the banda parties, you know what I'm saying?
Man.
Damn, cocaine everywhere.
Yeah, yes, sir.
You're like, what the fuck did I just come into?
Snowboarding.
This is a fucking cartel party.
Yeah.
What's going on here now? Fucking parties have been getting
Speaking
crazy.
of cartels, they went and got Chapo's son out of jail.
That is pretty crazy. That's some crazy.
I want to
shit.
be from there.
No,
that's the dopest gang in the world, dog.
You don't. I don't think so.
Them motherfuckers are crazy.
Hell
They'll
yeah.
come get me out of jail.
They'll come get me out of jail. For sure.
Wow.
Yo, for sure.
A lot of people pay for that one, though. There's bodies left and right for that one. I seen the videos.
It's the money to supply. That's what happened.
Man.
Money, you know. Another series for you talking about cartels.
Oh no, I'm good on that one.
That's just crazy. I watched the documentary on the people that sing for the cartels, and I seen this one band, and they were like well known, and the
but
cartel.
those motherfuckers be getting popped too.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. He was on some sing for another 15 hours.
Yeah,
We've been here for 24 hours. Like no, another 15, and he's like, nah, we're leaving, and they killed him. I said, wow,
that's fucked up. That's crazy. What the world has came down to.
Right.
It's a good series to write.
That might be interesting.
Right,
that
the singer,
that would be kind of dope.
A series about the singers singing the cartels.
I'm not even gonna say it.
And then some of
I'm
them
not going to say it because I know there's podcast viewers that are out here stealing sauce.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to just leave that one for when we're off camera.
We got creative people everywhere, dude. You'd be surprised. We got some creative ass people everywhere.
And I used to be on that tip too. I used to be so afraid, like, man, people are going to steal this. But I just figure, like, if you're a real true creative, that shit's gonna stop you.
You know, it's crazy. Somebody recently told me some stuff like that, where it was like a lot of people won't talk about what they got going or what they're doing because they're, you know what I mean, they're worried about shit. But like you said, if you're a real creative, that shit, it flows. You know what I mean? Like, what? That was just one idea.
They constantly come. Like they literally pull up on you every day. Like, hey, what's up? Let's do this. You know what I mean? In your mind, and it's just like,
as homies supporting each other, that helps out more. When Crystal supporting me by supplying me the home, you know what I mean?
Shout out to homegirl Crystal.
Yeah, girl.
Good ass.
You know, it's good. We were talking about it earlier before we started. Me and Crystal. We were good homies back in the day. Like,
she told me she to take you to your music events.
She used to take me to shows. Like, she was literally my ride to shows back in the day. And
that's
like,
fire.
Really my homegirl, we would kick it type shit. Like, me and Crystal got fucking stories for days. Like, literally. Oh my god, that's my dog right there. I fuck with Crystal for sure.
That's good when someone helps you out in your journey. Yeah, that's fucking dope.
That's great. And then years later, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy that she's still, like, you know, a part of my life in that sense. You know what I mean? Just doing
she's
stuff
the one who hooked me up. She's like, hey, you should interview my homie. And I'm like, who? Then I go to Instagram. That's how I'm getting everybody's like vibe of who they are, what they're doing with themselves. Because Instagram tells a story with one picture. Yeah, right. With one picture, it tells a story like, oh, this food does photography.
Yeah.
Oh no, this fool's a chef.
Hey, for real.
I'll be, man, I'm going to be tagging everybody. I'm going to be shooting everybody this way. I'm so serious.
Like here and just be cooking some shit up.
Oh man,
Josh is
get the good Foreman grill right here.
I can't. Josh.
Fucking Josh.
Maybe next time bring me some tacos to make up for it. You know what I'm saying?
Get a whole outdoor chef vibe with Josh. Yeah, man.
Well, he vegan though, so he.
Hey, I'm down.
He's vegetarian.
Vegetarian? Doesn't matter.
I'm vegetarian.
No, I don't know what you could.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I've been eating fish. I've been eating fish lately.
You've been eating a lot of fish?
Yeah, but I don't know. Somebody told me that there's a lot of mercury in the water.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot of everything, man. No GMOs, too much GMOs, HMOs, PPO and shit.
Are you talking about the post office?
Thank you guys for coming on the podcast. I learned a lot, and I'm very proud of what you are doing and what you're becoming.
Thank you.
And I'm very proud of you guys working as a team and making your dreams a reality. And it's gonna keep going and continuing. And we're all taking everybody with everyone's
sure. Like that.
No one's leaving anyone behind. We're all taking each other. And in some sort of way, like, creativeness is what strives me to do this podcast, because everybody's doing something crazy, like epic in the media, or in a sense being creative in themselves, photography, film, music, it all adds up, and it all just but it's dope. And I continue on with your clothing line, continue on with your series, continue on doing series and everything else. And where can my people find you guys at?
You can find me on, I don't know, Instagram, some sort of social media, Instagram, Twitter, at Newport Shorty.
I always put you guys still on the.
I mean,
like,
yeah, you can follow the gang and shit. Kiso Creative. That's like our whole media crew. That's like a lot of the guys that I work with, that I shoot with. We all kind of live underneath
into his circle,
that umbrella.
Boy.
But
Nick's whole circle is crazy.
Yeah, but the whole gang, Kiso, Newport Shorty, and then shit. You could probably find me on the set somewhere. If you were in the room, you probably know who I am. So you know what I mean.
Is this a porno set? Just kidding.
Low key, no, hell no.
That's what your film is about, bro.
Oh shit.
I'm contacting Pornhub right now.
Yeah, but you can find us on Black Sheep LA on Instagram or on the website blacksheepla.com.
All right.
Get that good merch.
Good merch.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir. 11 p.m. coming soon.
And 11 p.m. soon.
Yeah. And shout out you.
Shout out
the Boombox,
like
yo.
the Boombox,
you
bro.
know the fucking vibes.
Bro.
Like and subscribe.
It's
if
getting
not, I'm about to
like
crawl
a
through
titty.
the screen.
It's getting litty like a titty.
Litty two titty.
Yeah, hey, come back. Bring your whole squad. We'll have a bigger one. We'll ask more questions. We'll be more entertained and more informed.
No, I'm gonna check in with you guys for sure.
You'll be having more shit coming along.
Next
You'll
one's
be
gonna be
doing
on the
another
jet.
series. You'll be doing more film.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll start, making a porno.
Start
I don't know.
DJing.
Oh yeah, there you go. Make your own festival. I don't know.
Yeah,
Do
that's for sure in the works.
Oh,
That's
we need to
I
make
mean,
a
aside
festival.
from the gang, you know what I mean. Shout out.
We'll call
shout
it
out
the
the
Hood
whole
Festival.
OF family. You know what I'm talking about. Shout out everybody in the gang. Camp Flog Now on Saturday.
He's doing one of the stages.
You'll probably
the art.
see me. You'll probably see me, or you'll see my art somewhere on a stage.
Dope. And thank you for coming on the podcast.
For sure.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for just pulling up 20 minutes in. All right, bye guys.
Bye. Peace.